Traffic jams, long rides and expensive Uber fares, we all know the frustration. But what if there was a way to skip the gridlock entirely? Cities are changing, and so is transportation. Something new is coming, something that doesn't sit in traffic, doesn't make you wait, and could shake up the way we think about getting from point A to point B. Flying taxis have been a dream for decades. But this isn't just another futuristic idea. Companies are quietly building something that could make it real sooner than you think. What makes these flying taxis so different? Why could they change commuting forever? Stick around, because the answer isn't what most people expect. Flying cars and urban air taxis have been in movies and cartoons for years. Everyone imagines hopping into the sky and bypassing the chaos below. The reality has always been difficult. Helicopters are loud, expensive and limited. Early VTOL aircraft were mostly experimental, too costly for everyday use. But something is changing. Engineers and innovators are quietly solving problems that used to seem impossible: noise, energy, safety and cost. One company at the forefront, Joby Aviation, has been working on electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, eVTOLs, that could operate above cities every day. They aren't just building a plane, they're building a system that could reshape how we move. The question is, can this technology be scaled? Can it really compete with the cost and convenience of ride-sharing services we use every day? That's where the story gets interesting, and the answer might surprise you. Flying taxis aren't helicopters in disguise. They're something new, and the differences are more than just appearance. First, these are electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, or eVTOLs. They don't need runways. They can rise straight into the sky, hover and land almost anywhere. And they do it quietly, without the roar of a helicopter. But quiet isn't the only breakthrough. These aircraft are designed to be lightweight, efficient and capable of multiple trips per day. Engineers are solving problems that would have stopped earlier flying car projects cold: battery life, stability, noise and safety. Joby Aviation, for example, has spent years testing prototypes with hundreds of flights, refining every detail. Tilt rotors, multiple redundant systems, and advanced software help keep the aircraft stable even if one motor fails. Safety isn't an afterthought, it's built in from the ground up. And here's something most people don't realize: the aircraft aren't just flying vehicles. They're part of a networked transportation system. Software coordinates traffic in the sky, manages energy use, and ensures schedules are efficient. It's almost like air traffic control for tiny city-sized aircraft, automated, smart and scalable. The question is, can these technical innovations make flying taxis practical, not just exciting? Can the aircraft operate enough trips per day at low enough cost to become more than a novelty? That's where economics enters the story, and it's where many people's assumptions will be challenged. At first, it's hard to believe. Flying sounds expensive. Helicopters cost thousands per hour, right? So how could a flying taxi ever be cheaper than a standard Uber ride? The answer comes down to efficiency, technology and scale. First, consider Uber. Every ride depends on traffic, fuel, and a driver's time. Peak hours mean higher prices. Longer trips cost more. And the cost isn't just money, it's time spent stuck in traffic. Flying taxis avoid most of these problems. Above the city, there is almost no congestion. A taxi can travel in a straight line from point A to point B. Less waiting, less wasted energy, and fewer delays. Second, electricity changes the game. Traditional helicopters burn expensive fuel and require costly maintenance. Flying taxis like Joby Aviation's eVTOLs are fully electric. Electricity is cheaper than gasoline. Fewer moving parts means lower maintenance costs. Third, these aircraft are designed for multiple trips per day. Unlike a personal helicopter which might fly once or twice a day, a flying taxi can make dozens of short flights in a single day. Each flight spreads the fixed costs over more passengers, reducing the per-ride price. Automation also plays a role. Some operations will eventually be piloted by humans at first, but as software improves, advanced flight systems could reduce the number of crew required. This reduces labor costs. Another reason per-ride fares could be lower than Uber's surge pricing. Another factor is urban air infrastructure. Joby Aviation and partners are planning vertiports, takeoff and landing hubs designed for efficiency. These hubs are smaller and cheaper to maintain than traditional airports or heliports. With optimized scheduling and networked hubs, flights can run continuously with minimal downtime. Here's an example to make it tangible. A typical Uber ride across a busy city might cost $25 kilometers depending on traffic. A flying taxi, flying the same distance in minutes rather than hours, could cost a similar amount or even less without the wait and frustration of gridlock. Of course, this is still a projection. Costs will depend on adoption rates, energy prices, regulations, and passenger demand. But the math shows that electric aircraft plus multiple daily trips plus automation bypassing traffic potential for lower fares. And there's a bonus most people don't think about: time savings. Even if the cost per mile were the same as Uber, people would be willing to pay slightly more for a trip that takes a fraction of the time. That creates value beyond the money, and it's part of what makes this model economically viable. Flying taxis could reshape not just commuting but also urban economics. Short flights could replace long drives, reduce congestion on roads, and make city centers more accessible. Imagine living farther from work but getting there in 10 minutes. The possibilities are huge. But it's not all solved. These economic models rely on careful planning, large-scale adoption, and regulatory approval. If traffic in the sky isn't managed correctly or energy costs rise, the math could change quickly. That's why the story of flying taxis isn't just about technology. It's also about making the economics work in real life. So the question remains, can flying taxis really beat Uber on cost and convenience? Joby Aviation thinks they can, and they're building a plan that could make it happen step by step, city by city. Even the most advanced technology can't take off without rules and infrastructure. Flying taxis promise speed, convenience, and cost savings, but cities weren't built for thousands of aircraft in the sky. The first challenge is air traffic management. Unlike roads, the sky has fewer lanes and no traffic lights. Multiple aircraft sharing the same airspace need to be coordinated to prevent collisions. Joby Aviation is working with regulators and software engineers to create a networked system that tracks every flight in real time. It's like a digital air traffic controller, making sure flights are safe and efficient. Next is safety certification. Aircraft must meet strict rules before carrying passengers. Joby Aviation has been testing prototypes for years, logging hundreds of flights to prove safety, reliability, and consistency. Every battery, rotor, and autopilot system is inspected and monitored. This ensures that when a passenger steps into a flying taxi, the risk is minimized even compared to ground vehicles. Another obstacle is infrastructure. Flying taxis need vertiports, takeoff and landing hubs that are small, fast, and strategically placed. Unlike airports, these hubs need to be inside cities, on rooftops or small plots of land. They must include charging stations for electric aircraft, passenger boarding zones, and maintenance facilities. Planning these hubs requires collaboration with city planners, architects, and regulators. Pilot training is another factor. At first, human pilots will control most flights. They need extensive training to operate these aircraft safely in crowded urban environments. Over time, automation could reduce this need, but early adoption depends on highly skilled pilots to ensure trust and safety. Then there's the regulatory puzzle. Rules differ by country and even by city. Authorities must approve everything from flight paths and noise levels to emergency procedures. Any flying taxi system has to navigate a complex web of aviation laws, a process that can take years. Finally, public acceptance plays a role. Even if the technology is safe and affordable, people must trust it. That means transparent safety records, reliable operations, and demonstrations that flying taxis aren't just a luxury for the few. In short, flying taxis face more than just technical hurdles. The sky is open, but the rules, infrastructure, and public trust have to catch up. And that's why some experts believe it could take years before you see these aircraft over your city, even if the technology is ready today. Yet, every challenge has a solution. With careful planning, partnerships with cities, and advances in automation and safety, Joby Aviation's vision of everyday flying taxis is closer than most people realize. So, what will it look like when flying taxis are part of everyday life? Imagine leaving your apartment in the morning, stepping into a small idle aircraft on a rooftop vertiport, and reaching your office in minutes. No traffic lights, no stop-and-go streets, no long Uber rides. Cities could feel smaller, and commuting could become faster, more predictable, and surprisingly convenient. Flying taxis could also reshape urban design. Roads may become less congested, parking lots less crowded, and neighborhoods more connected. Emergency services could reach destinations faster, and deliveries could happen in the air rather than clogging streets. The economics of flying taxis become even more compelling in this future. With a fully operational network, automated scheduling, and scalable infrastructure, per-trip costs could continue to fall. Peak hour surges might disappear because the system can dynamically allocate aircraft to demand, unlike Uber or traditional rideshare services. Environmentally, electric aircraft could reduce emissions compared to gasoline-powered cars, especially in crowded cities. Reduced traffic congestion also lowers pollution, making the city cleaner and quieter. Yet this future isn't immediate. Rolling out a full network of flying taxis requires years of testing, regulatory approval, infrastructure building, and public acceptance. But the pieces are coming together. Advanced aircraft, smart traffic management, and scalable business models. Joby Aviation's plan is to start with limited routes in select cities, proving the concept before expanding. Every successful flight, every satisfied passenger, will build trust and show that flying taxis aren't a luxury. They could be a practical choice for daily commuting. The question isn't just whether we can fly over cities, it's whether we're ready to rethink how urban transportation works, and whether we're ready to step into the sky. Flying taxis have been a dream for decades. Now, with Joby Aviation and other innovators, that dream is becoming real. These aircraft could be faster, quieter, and surprisingly cheaper than the rides we take today. They could transform commuting, reduce traffic, and make cities more connected than ever before. But the story isn't just about technology. It's about solving challenges regulatory, infrastructural, and social that will determine whether flying taxis become a part of daily life or remain a futuristic fantasy. So the next time you think about your morning commute, imagine looking up and seeing a small aircraft hovering above the city, quietly carrying passengers to their destinations. This isn't just science fiction, it's the future of urban mobility, faster, smarter, and more accessible than most people expected. And when that future arrives, the question you'll ask isn't, can we do it? It will be, why didn't we do this sooner?